What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? So I was having a discussion with a buddy of mine after the gym, and me and her were talking, and the conversation led to what we were talking about was mindset. We ended up talking about mindset. And I told her, I said, you know what the definition of insanity is? And I said the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. She said, really? I said, yeah, look it up. Well, we both looked it up, and guess what? I was wrong. That is not the definition of insanity. The definition of insanity, it was something about mindset. Forgive me because I don't have it and I didn't write it down, but it wasn't that. So after that conversation, I left that conversation blessed because I was like, she challenged my definition and I found myself lacking, and now I get an opportunity to rectify the situation before I spread the misinformation any further. So I had to first find out what the definition of insanity was, which I did. And second, I was like, where did I get this idea that the definition of insanity was to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results? Well, I looked it up, right? And the person that is credited with the witticism of that definition of insanity is Albert Einstein. That makes sense because I watch a lot of sci-fi movies. I watch a lot of science fiction. I always believe brains over brawn, right, in any situation. So that would make sense that someone would quote that and then I would hang on to that and use it through life. But now I know that the appropriate thing to say is Albert Einstein's definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and accept different results. I said that for several reasons, right? Number one is, if you're going to quote something, you're going to say something, make sure you understand where it's coming from. Make sure you can cite your sources. Make sure that you're able to explain it in detail exactly where you got this information from. Because eventually you will be tested, like I was, for the answers that you're giving. Number two, I bring this up because I'm thankful that I had this buddy and this opportunity to challenge my point of view. I always look forward to someone who respectfully challenges my point of view because it gives me a chance to prove my point of view, to explain my point of view, and to validate my point of view. This is one of the things that Thurgood Marshall, who was the first Black Supreme Court justice, said about his father. His father made him do that. It made him prove what he's saying. He made him prove his argument. He could be telling him like the weather, and his dad would make him prove why he's saying that the weather is the way it is. And it's a great thing. I mean, albeit it can be a bad thing, right? If somebody's just being, hellacious with it and being disrespectful with it. But for someone to challenge your point of view, to somebody to challenge your beliefs, your faith, to make you prove what you're saying is correct, to show and understand why that you prove and believe what you're doing, it's a good thing. It keeps us on our toes. It keeps us sharp. Once we stop challenging points of views, we stop challenging information, we stop asking for the details and the science behind stuff, this is when we begin to just accept anything that anybody says just because they're saying it. And that's a very, very dangerous place to be in the world and society, and definitely in education, right? So thank you to that friend and buddy. You know who you are. Like I told you, I don't put people's names out there unless they ask them to. I keep our conversations personal and confidential, but I do share gems of knowledge that I get from each conversation I think that they will help, the masses and other people that are out there who are going to receive this message. And don't be afraid to be challenged. Don't be afraid to explore your beliefs. Don't be afraid to question them. Don't be afraid to go and find the answers yourself rather than someone else just giving to you. Yes, it's good to have a mentor or mentee that you can go to bounce ideas off and check your information, but make sure that this is something that you know, not that you know of. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another. Keep me in your prayers. I'll forever keep you in mind. Endure, believe, rise.